Across the endless plains of the African savanna, no victory is ever certain. In the natural world, every encounter is a high-stakes gamble where instinct, experience, and a single misstep can determine survival. Each chase becomes a harsh trial of endurance and accuracy, where even the smallest error can turn a hunter into the hunted or grant prey an unexpected chance to escape. In this land, a brief moment of resistance can shatter the balance of power. A sudden turn, a desperate charge, or a split second of hesitation is enough to rewrite the outcome of a hunt that once seemed inevitable. The savanna shows no mercy for mistakes, and it recognizes no absolute dominance. Even the most feared predators must risk everything each time they pursue a meal. At the center of this unforgiving world unfolds one of nature's most intense pursuits, the hunt within the lion's domain. Here, silence becomes a warning. Tall grass conceals danger, and every shadow may signal an attack. Yet even the so-called king of the savanna is not immune to uncertainty. Hunting is an expression of strength, but also of vulnerability where triumph lasts only moments and survival must be earned again and again beneath Africa's relentless sun. Under the merciless African sun, the plains shimmer with heat. Scorching winds twist columns of dust into the air, blurring the horizon and choking the land. Here, life hangs on a delicate balance. A single lapse can mean the end, and even the smallest decision can draw the line between survival and death. Across the open grassland, a buffalo lowers its massive head to graze. Its towering frame and sharp horns form a natural shield, yet in the act of feeding, a weakness is exposed. Just meters away, hidden within the dry grass, a pair of golden eyes remains perfectly still. A pride of lions has been watching for hours, waiting for the precise moment. In In this open world, success is not decided by sudden strength, but by patience, timing, and flawless execution. There is no room for mistakes. Heat, relentless heat. Throughout the savanna, the lion sits atop the food chain. Raw power is matched with teamwork refined over countless generations. Together, these traits tip the balance in the endless struggle between hunter and prey. The grasslands are more than a home, they are a battleground where every movement can seal a fate. Every hunt begins in silence. The pride advances carefully, alert to the slightest shift from an antelope or buffalo. Once a vulnerable or isolated animal is identified, the strategy unfolds. Lionesses lead the approach, spreading out to cut off escape routes. As the trap closes, violence erupts. The prey fights back with frantic strength. That is when the males join in, using their weight and force to bring the animal down. Yet the role of the male lion extends beyond brute impact. He is not only the blade, but the spectacle. His dark mane becomes a banner of intimidation, drawing attention, spreading confusion, and breaking horned defenses through fear itself. He is a living distraction shaped by ancestors who learned that some battles are won with terror even before the first strike is made. Even with flawless coordination, success is never guaranteed. Only about 15 to 30% of hunts end in a kill. That is why the pride targets the old, the young, or the injured, choices that lower the risk and conserve precious energy. And when a hunt finally succeeds, the reward is anything but peaceful. The body of a zebra or buffalo quickly becomes a beacon across the savanna. Hyenas arrive, vultures circle overhead, and other scavengers gather, drawn by the scent of blood. This fierce competition plays a vital role in maintaining ecological balance. By keeping herbivore numbers in check, lions prevent buffalo and zebras from overgrazing the grasslands. This natural control allows vegetation to recover and the land to renew itself. In this way, the lion sets the rhythm of the plains. Every stalk through tall grass, every ambush, and every battle over a carcass leaves a lasting mark on the landscape. Under the harsh, sun-scorched skies of Africa, the lion is more than a predator. It is a keystone species holding together the delicate chain of life that defines the savanna. African buffalo move as a single force. They travel in massive herds and rarely break formation. Calves and weaker individuals remain at the core, shielded by an outer ring of powerful adults ready to confront any threat. This formation is driven by instinct, but also by knowledge passed down through generations of survival. More often than not, it is the females who set the course, guided by memory, ancient grazing grounds, and distant water sources mapped in their minds. Adult males take on the role of sentinels, standing guard at the edges. The herd structure is flexible enough to adapt, yet strong enough to endure the harshest conditions the savanna can offer. Buffalo also share close relationships with other species. Oxpeckers perch on their hides, feeding on ticks and parasites embedded in the skin. These birds do more than clean, they serve as early warning systems. Their sharp calls alert the herd to approaching danger. When a predator makes its move, the response is immediate. The herd tightens into a dense circle, horns facing outward. This living barricade is incredibly difficult to breach. Lions and hyenas succeed only if they manage to break the formation or isolate a single animal from the group. Through their daily movements, buffalo shape the ecosystem in countless ways. They regulate grass growth, support large predators, and sustain species that rely on their presence. In the vast plains of Africa, buffalo are more than survivors. They are pillars of balance in a land where life and death are inseparably linked. In the heart of the African grasslands, where survival is a daily battle, a female buffalo faces her ultimate test. With a final surge of strength, her calf enters the world. drawing its first breath under watchful eyes, some protective, others dangerous. There is no time to recover. From a distance, hyenas move closer in silence, their focus locked on the vulnerable newborn, sensing an easy chance. Exhausted from giving birth but driven by instinct, the mother positions herself between the hyenas and her calf. The predators advance cautiously, snapping and probing, testing her resolve, searching for a moment to pull the calf away. Her body shakes with fatigue, yet she refuses to yield. Each charge is met with a desperate counterattack fueled by the last of her strength. As her energy begins to fade, a powerful figure emerges through the dust. The father has arrived. He charges forward, hooves pounding the ground, horns lowered in defense of his family. The hyenas hesitate. Faced with the combined determination of both parents, their confidence dissolves into restraint. Together, mother and father stand shoulder to shoulder, forming an unbreakable barrier. Having escaped this immediate danger, the buffalo leads her calf across the open plains toward the safety of the herd. But in the wild, safety is never guaranteed. Ahead, two lions materialize without a sound, focused, coordinated, lethal. Moving as one, they begin to circle, their steps deliberate and precise. In a heartbeat, the calm shatters as the lioness launches the first attack. Mother and calf are pushed to the edge of survival. The buffalo twists and bucks in panic, struggling to break free as exhaustion takes its toll. The male lion joins the assault from behind, striking with claws and teeth. Driven by the instinct to protect her young, the mother refuses to collapse. With everything she has left, she fights to escape the tightening trap. The lion slips past the sweeping horns, circles behind, and strikes again. Drained of strength, the buffalo staggers beneath the predator's weight, her breathing ragged and uneven. Just as the struggle seems decided, another lion joins the assault, clamping onto her neck. With one final surge of defiance, she tries to resist. But the jaws of the savanna's ruler close firmly, bringing her fight to an end. The mother's strength fades. Her body collapses under the lion's control. Until her final moment, her determination to protect her calf never wavered. In the realm of the savanna's king, survival is unforgiving, and every second reflects the harsh, relentless beauty of Africa's plains. The dominant lion turns his attention to the calf. Its vulnerability is clear. Instinct overwhelms hesitation. In a swift, decisive motion, he attacks. Claws and teeth end the calf's brief struggle in an instant. The lion claims the first bite. Powerful jaws tear into the buffalo's hide as the rest of the pride watches closely. One by one, they join the meal, easing, if only temporarily, the hunger that governs their lives. Not far away, the male buffalo stands alone. The loss of his mate and calf is etched into his stare, heavy with grief and rage. Yet he is not truly alone. The herd senses his distress and gathers around him, massive bodies united by loss and rising fury. Shared pain hardens into resolve. Suddenly, the buffalo charge. Their hooves thunder across the savanna as they surge toward the lions with overwhelming force. They encircle the bodies of the fallen mother and calf, their fury intensified by loss and the instinct for retaliation. Driven by grief, they pursue the lions, relentlessly advancing like an unstoppable tide. The lions retreat into the tall grass, weaving and dodging the oncoming rush. The former hunters are now forced onto the defensive. Still, the buffalo press forward, crashing through shrubs, lowering their heads and driving ahead with a determination that seems inexhaustible. Cornered, the lions reach a stretch of muddy ground. Their paws sink slightly as they struggle to escape. The buffalo close in dangerously near, but the lions respond with quick leaps and well-timed swipes, avoiding direct impact. Gradually, exhaustion begins to take its toll on the herd. The initial surge of power fades. The terrain favors the lions and the cohesion of the buffalo group starts to fracture. Anger gives way to fatigue. Experience signals retreat. One by one, the buffalo fall back, aware that the cycle of life and death cannot be overturned. The dominant lion stands his ground, watching the herd withdraw, a stark reminder of the fragile balance between predator and prey. A silent exchange passes through the pride. The hunt is not yet over. Their focus shifts to the leader of the buffalo. In a sudden burst of movement, a lion lunges forward, claws extended, driving them into the animal's flank. A fierce struggle erupts. The buffalo twists and lashes out with horns and hooves, fighting desperately to break free. The lions close in around their quarry, each taking a precise position. The outcome is no longer in doubt. Just as the pride prepares to claim the reward of a hard-fought hunt, a new threat emerges. Another group of lions, drawn by the scent of fresh blood, approaches with steady strides and unwavering stares. The air grows heavy with tension. The two prides assess one another, neither willing to retreat. Hunger and survival fuel the confrontation. Lions clash, grapple, and roar, every movement charged with the will to dominate the kill. Then something unexpected happens. Without a sound or signal, an unspoken agreement takes shape. A brief ceasefire. The rivals tolerate one another and share the feast. In this unforgiving land, even enemies are sometimes forced to coexist. Each lion sees in the other the same strength, the same endurance, the same relentless struggle to stay alive. Beneath the surface of the earth, far from the open gaze of the savanna and the relentless sun, a story shaped by struggle begins. We return to the very beginning. Inside a hidden den, spotted hyena cubs are born. Unlike many other predators, they do not enter the world blind or helpless. Their eyes are open, their teeth already formed. This early development is not an innocent advantage, it is a warning. From their first moments, they are prepared for conflict. Even among siblings, survival is fiercely contested. The cubs engage in silent battles, each one striving to assert dominance within an unseen order that governs the entire clan. Every movement, every shove helps define a hierarchy that will shape their future. Cubs born to high-ranking females inherit clear advantages. They feed first, receive greater protection, and are treated with deference. In contrast, the offspring of low-ranking females must fight for every drop of milk, for every moment close to their mother. Inequality here is undeniable and often fatal. In some litters, only a single cub survives. This extreme behavior, known as siblicide, is not driven by cruelty. It is a harsh mechanism of natural selection rooted in the biology of the mother herself. Hyena milk is among the richest in the animal kingdom. Thick, energy-dense, and designed to fuel rapid growth. But it is limited in supply. The struggle within the den ensures that only the strongest and most resilient gain access to this vital resource. For several weeks, the cubs remain underground. They grow in near darkness, building muscle, sharpening instincts, and strengthening both body and mind. Then between the second and third month, a decisive moment arrives. They emerge into the open world and learn that survival demands more than courage. It requires discipline, endurance, and constant adaptation. On the surface, the entire clan is waiting. What once looked like playful wrestling between siblings quickly turns into hunting practice. The adults watch in silence, serving as living examples. Every movement is closely observed. The young test themselves in short sprints, rehearse ambushes, and practice mock attacks. This phase is decisive. It separates those who will thrive from those who will struggle in the unforgiving reality of the savanna. In the wild African plains where strength often seems to rule fate, the spotted hyena defies familiar rules. Here, power does not belong to the largest males, but to the females. They are natural leaders, relentless strategists. Hyena society is among the most complex of all carnivores, held together by a strict hierarchy that is firm, unforgiving, and deeply ingrained. Power is not challenged every day. It is inherited, maintained, and respected. At the top of this structure stands the alpha female, a matriarch who sets the rhythm of the clan's life. Her authority is rarely questioned. She determines who eats first, who leads the hunt, and who gains access to the best resources. This legacy is far more than symbolic. It shapes survival itself. Males, meanwhile, hold no permanent position. Even the strongest rank near the bottom of the hierarchy. When they reach maturity, they are driven from their birth clan and must seek acceptance elsewhere. They move carefully, display submission, and wait for opportunity. Those who are allowed to stay remain in modest roles, surviving only through the tolerance and approval of the females who truly rule this world. Despite this harshness, there is no chaos. Every member knows its place and balance is maintained with near military precision. Hyena society is severe yet remarkably efficient. At its core lies one of its greatest strengths: organization. Behind the piercing laughter that cuts through the night stands a body and mind shaped by relentless pressure to survive. The anatomy of the spotted hyena is no accident. It is the product of thousands of years of adaptation. Its build is compact, powerful, and unmistakable. The front legs are noticeably longer than the hind legs, giving the animal its distinctive sloped posture. This design allows explosive bursts of speed and exceptional stability, ideal traits for long pursuits across the uneven terrain of the savanna. The midday sun burns overhead. The lioness has won the hunt, but the battle is far from over. They do not emerge from the shadows, but in full daylight. They advance like a perfectly synchronized unit. At the front stands the clan's matriarch. She does not rush, she calculates, she observes. With a single glance, the formation shifts. The escape route is sealed, the rear is cut off, the trap is closing. The lioness has raw strength. The hyenas have numbers and ruthless tactics refined by experience. Jaws capable of delivering over 450 kilograms of pressure, strong enough to crush not only bone, but the will to keep fighting. In this moment, the balance of power shifts. Here, dominance is no longer about muscle alone. The strongest is not always the biggest, it is the one who organizes best. Not far away, the Tsesebe antelope. One of Africa's fastest runners moves steadily across the open plains. These animals are true ecological trailblazers. As they travel into new areas, they help stimulate the renewal of grasslands. During the dry season, a tsessebe may cover dozens of kilometers in a single day searching for the scarce water sources that keep life alive. The tsessebe is also known for its strong sense of curiosity. Instead of fleeing instantly, it may pause to scan its surroundings, a behavior as captivating as it is risky. Though its build can appear somewhat awkward, this antelope is capable of sustaining speeds close to 90 kilometers per hour over long distances. Instinct urges escape, but sometimes even that is not enough to outrun an extraordinary predator. Then the cheetah enters the scene, the fastest land animal on Earth yet, also among the most vulnerable. Its evolutionary journey began millions of years ago, shaped by a singular choice, extreme speed and precision, at the cost of brute strength. Females typically live alone, while males often form small coalitions, frequently with brothers. These alliances improve their hunting success and help them defend territory. Once the prey locks into its field of vision, the cheetah's spine coils like a spring under tension. In just 3 seconds, it explodes from stillness to nearly 95 kilometers per hour. Each stride releases pure energy. Its lungs expand to their limit, and a powerful heart drives oxygen-rich blood through the body to sustain the sprint. With a perfectly timed leap, the cheetah brings its target down in a moment of silent shock across the savanna. Even while gasping for breath, the cheetah must eat quickly. Lingering too long invites danger, as other predators may steal the hard-earned kill. The early years of a cheetah's life are filled with constant threats. Mothers give birth in carefully hidden shelters to avoid detection. The cubs are born incredibly fragile, making them easy targets for lions, hyenas, and even snakes. cub mortality can be devastatingly high, reaching up to 90%. Only when the young are strong enough to keep pace with their mother and begin learning the skills of the hunt do their chances of survival improve. Despite standing at the top of the food chain in terms of speed, the cheetah's life is anything but easy. Its role in nature is crucial. By controlling prey populations, the cheetah helps maintain balance within the ecosystem. By targeting weaker or more vulnerable individuals, it supports the overall genetic health of herbivore species across the savanna. In this way, the cheetah is not just a symbol of speed, but a key guardian of ecological stability. High above the Miombo woodlands, a massive shadow glides in complete slants. It is the lappet-faced vulture, an imposing presence that seems to stand watch over the thin line between life and death. This species is the last living representative of an ancient lineage within its family, shaped by millions of years of evolution in some of the harshest environments on Earth. In the air, its movement is calm and almost invisible. On the ground, it commands instant respect. Its large, exceptionally powerful beak can tear through the toughest hides and sinews with ease. A small antelope can be stripped down to bare bones in less than 20 minutes. Faced with this dominant scavenger, even hyenas and jackals often step aside rather than challenge it. Its appearance is unmistakable. Dark feathers frame a bare head flushed with a deep pink hue. This featherless skin is no accident. It helps maintain cleanliness and allows the sun to act as a natural disinfectant after feeding on decaying remains. Unlike many other vultures, this species is typically solitary or lives in pairs. It forms strong monogamous bonds and builds its nests high in trees where both parents share the responsibility of raising their young. Each breeding season, the pair produces just a single egg, which is carefully incubated for roughly 55 days. The chick develops slowly, taking about 4 months to make its first flight and may require up to 6 years to reach full maturity. This slow life cycle makes every new generation especially valuable. Its diet is far more diverse than many people assume. While carrion remains its primary food source, this vulture is also capable of capturing small live prey and even raiding flamingo nests when the opportunity arises. Such dietary flexibility is vital, particularly during harsh dry seasons when food is scarce and competition is intense. Contrary to popular belief, vultures do not rely on their sense of smell. Instead, they possess extraordinary eyesight. From altitudes exceeding 1,000 meters, they can spot the faintest signs of death on the ground below. By rapidly consuming carcasses, they prevent the spread of dangerous bacteria and disease, playing a crucial role in maintaining the health and balance of African ecosystems. Spotted figures begin to emerge across the vastness of the plains. They are African wild dogs, tireless hunters of the Miombo woodlands. Each individual wears a unique pattern of black, brown, and white markings. No two are alike. Their society is exceptionally cohesive and led by a dominant alpha pair. Cooperation within the pack is so precise that it grants them extraordinary hunting success. As the sun sets, one of the savanna's most efficient predators sets into motion. Their strategy does not rely on ambush, but on endurance, coordination, and teamwork. Their large, rounded ears function like biological antennas, helping them dissipate heat and detect even the faintest sounds in their surroundings. During the chase, they encircle the prey and maintain constant pressure, gradually pushing it toward panic and exhaustion. Fleeing is a natural instinct, but prolonged pursuit is the wild dog's specialty. In the end, completely spent, the prey stumbles and falls before the pack. The feeding is swift. They must eat quickly before competitors such as hyenas or lions detect the scent. Adults carry portions of meat back to the den to feed the pups and any injured or weaker members of the group. The African wild dog plays a vital role in maintaining ecosystem balance. Its existence reveals the subtlety of nature, where every species, no matter how discreet or fierce, occupies an indispensable place. Amid the dry grass and cracked earth, the white rhinoceros moves forward with a heavy yet silent gait. Its name can be misleading. It does not refer to color, but comes from the African word wid, meaning wide, a reference to its broad mouth. Weighing close to 2,500 kilograms, it is the second largest land mammal on the planet, surpassed only by the elephant. Unlike the black rhinoceros, this species usually lives in small groups made up of females and their calves. Adult males, by contrast, establish their own territories which they defend through scent markings. The gestation period is long, around 16 months, and the calf remains with its mother for the first 2 or 3 years of life. This very slow reproductive rhythm makes the population especially vulnerable to any threat. Although its behavior is generally calm, the white rhinoceros can react with surprising speed. If it senses danger, it is capable of reaching speeds of nearly 50 kilometers per hour to protect its calf. For this reason, the loss of even a single individual has serious consequences for the entire population. By the end of 2024, it was estimated that around 17,400 southern white rhinoceroses remained in the wild. This figure represents an extraordinary recovery compared to the late 19th century, when the species was on the brink of extinction, with fewer than 100 individuals left alive. However, poaching for their horns remains a constant threat that continues to put their future at risk. On the African savanna, every battle ends without promises of eternal victory. In the natural world, no power is absolute and no triumph lasts forever. Each hunt pushes instinct to its limits and punishes the smallest mistake. One miscalculated step, a second of hesitation, or a delayed reaction can completely change the fate of both hunters and prey. Here, a single moment of resistance can shake the established order. Those who seem destined to fall sometimes find the strength to defy the inevitable. The savanna reminds us that survival does not always belong to the strongest, but to those who manage to adapt, endure, and seize the right moment. In this unforgiving arena, life is sustained by decisions made in fractions of a second. If these stories of struggle, uncertainty, and survival move you, subscribe to Beast Call Nature, give the video a like, and join us on more journeys into the heart of the wild, where every story is written under the oldest law of all: to survive. At the heart of southern Africa lies Kaza, the largest transfrontier conservation area on Earth. 5 nations bound together by rivers, savannas, and ancient forests share a single vast stage where life is tested against its most unforgiving conditions. Here, the boundaries drawn by humans mean nothing to hunger, to danger, or to death. Across this immense wilderness, every day demands something. Herds move in search of water across ground that offers no guarantees. Predators read the landscape with a patience that can last for hours, calculating distances and angles before committing to a single decisive movement. The most vulnerable learn quickly or do not get the chance to learn at all. Dust rises without warning. Silence breaks without announcement. The struggle to survive begins again, as it always does, before anyone is ready. Kaza is not simply a sanctuary. It is a proving ground, a place where strength, speed, and the accumulated intelligence of generations determine who continues and who does not. Across these lands, shared by 5 nations, nature enforces its own laws. They are older than any border drawn on a map, and they are absolute. Deep within the Kavango-Zambezi Basin, where the territories of 5 nations converge, the bush has become an arena of unrelenting struggle. An unusually prolonged dry season has settled over the landscape like a weight dust hanging thick and still above the low scrub, the air carrying the dry heat of a land pushed beyond its usual limits. A black rhinoceros moves in saunts along trails worn into the earth by generations of buffalo before it. Both species are following the same imperative, the same ancient necessity: water. Not far across the scorched plain, a pack of African wild dogs crosses ground that only a few years ago formed part of a green and functioning migration corridor. Today it is barely recognizable. Each stride costs more than it should. Bodies that evolved over millions of years to cover vast distances with fluid efficiency are moving with a heaviness that speaks to exhaustion and depleted reserves. The ecosystem is under a pressure it has rarely experienced in any form quite like this, because the force applying that pressure is not drought alone or competition or the ordinary hardship of a difficult season. It is a crisis of a different kind entirely, one authored by human activity and accelerating beyond the pace at which wild systems can adapt. And yet Kaza endures. It remains one of the last places on Earth where the full breadth of African wildlife can still move, still breathe, still recover. That persistence is not simply a conservation achievement. It is a reminder, profound and difficult to ignore, of what has been placed in our care and what it will cost if we fail to honor it. A new day opens as golden light filters through the tree line and spills across the African plain, drawing life out from the shadows. A lion pride emerges from the darkness at the forest's edge, moving with a quiet and focused purpose. The morning hunt has already begun. In the distance, zebras and wildebeest move together across the grass, following the pull of greener pasture, unaware of how close they are moving to danger. The lion watches, completely still, completely patient, the kind of patience that is indistinguishable from the landscape itself. It waits for the moment that always comes. A weaker animal dropping back, creating a gap between itself and the safety of the herd. A zebra peels away toward a drying marsh, lowers its head, and drinks from what remains of the water-shallow, sun-warmed pools that will not last much longer. It does not sense what is waiting in the grass nearby. Exposed and absorbed in drinking, it has no warning before the lion launches an explosion of muscle and momentum that sends earth and dry grass into the air. The chase tears across the savanna like a crack of thunder, a desperate, committed sprint in which every second is everything. zebra runs with the full force of fear behind each stride, hooves hammering the ground, kicking backward in an attempt to slow the predator pressing relentlessly behind it. Then the lion makes its final move, leaping, landing hard across the zebra's back. Claws find their grip. The weight drives the animal down. The zebra fights, kicks, resists with everything it has left. But the hold does not give. Strength and instinct in the end override panic. When it is over, the cubs approach, curious, calling softly, watching the adults and mimicking what they see, beginning to learn the lessons that will define the rest of their lives. On these plains, survival is purchased breath by breath. In the wild, only those who live with absolute commitment leave any trace at all, written in dust and in the silence that follows. Beneath the relentless African sun, a silhouette moves with unhurried confidence across the open ground. The distinctive sloping back and measured gait of the spotted hyena, an animal that has provoked unease in human observers for as long as the two species have shared this continent. Feared, misread, and persistently underestimated, the hyena occupies a place in the popular imagination that bears little resemblance to what it actually is: a bold and capable hunter, and one of the most intelligent strategic thinkers in the African ecosystem. It is found across much of the continent, from the edge of true desert to the margins of forest, thriving precisely in the places that test every species most severely. Where only the most adaptable and resilient manage to hold their ground. Among the predators of the savanna, the spotted hyena does not merely compete. In many landscapes, it sets the terms. Its hunts are not opportunistic scrambles. They are coordinated, distributed efforts in which each individual plays a specific role, some drawing attention, others moving to cut off escape. The combination of endurance and strategy is formidable. A hyena can sustain a pursuit over several kilometers without flagging, driven by a physical stamina that outlasts many of the animals it targets. The sound that defines it in the human mind, that rising, unsettling call, is not laughter in any human sense. It is communication, precise, layered, and rich with information about position status, emotional state, and the dynamics of the moment. Within the clan, bonds run deep. Hyenas recognize one another across time, respond to loss, and maintain social connections that go well beyond the transactional. They do not simply coexist, they belong to one another. And yet the reputation persists. Thief, coward, creature of the margins. To watch a hyena clan with genuine attention rather than inherited prejudice is to encounter something quite different. An animal whose role in the ecosystem is not incidental but foundational. As scavengers, they process what others cannot, returning nutrients to the soil and limiting the spread of disease. Without them, carcasses accumulate, pathogens persist, and the balance that sustains everything else begins to slip. Their work is not glamorous, but it is essential, and it is done with a thoroughness that nothing else in this landscape can match. Every kill, every carcass consumed, every bone reduced to powder leaves its mark on the health of the savanna. The hyena is a reminder that survival does not always arrive in a form we find easy to admire, but that does not make it any less necessary. At dawn in Keza, golden light moves across dew-covered grassland, beneath a sky that is wide and clear and still. The air carries the coolness of the night just past. The earth holds its quiet for one more moment, and then carefully, watchfully, the wild begins to wake. In the tall grass, something stirs. A clan of hyenas stretches and shakes off the stillness of a long night's rest, eyes adjusting, ears already turning toward the sounds of the waking landscape. They rise without urgency, reading the air around them before committing to movement. These are not animals that rush into anything. They are patient, coordinated, and possessed of a social intelligence that shapes every decision the group makes. One by one, they begin to move noses low, picking up the invisible information that drifts just above the ground. Their ears tighten. Every sound is data, a shift in wind, a distant footfall, the rhythm of breathing that does not belong to the clan. Not far across the grass, a group of topee antelope graze in the warmth of the early morning, their coats catching the light, heads down and unhurried. They have not yet read what the wind is carrying toward them. The hyenas slow drop lower and fix their attention on the herd, assessing positioning, making the calculations that precede a coordinated hunt. They spread out a quiet, deliberate opening of the formation, each animal taking its place without signal or instruction, moving through the tall grass like shadows with intent. They close the distance with a patience that seems almost geological. The topi continue to graze, still unaware. Then, without warning, one hyena breaks, accelerating hard through the grass, the stillness of the morning shattered in an instant. The targeted topi, resting in shade at the edge of the group, is on its feet before the thought has fully formed. Its legs find their rhythm, immediately cutting across the grass, swerving through obstacles, driven by the absolute urgency of escape. But this animal is faster today than the pursuit can match. With a combination of agility and pace, it opens the gap and pulls clear. The hyenas pull up, breathing hard, eyes still sharp despite the outcome. There are no recriminations, no visible frustration. The clan recalibrates. The hunt is not over. It has simply not yet found its moment. For now, they turn toward a nearby marsh, drawn by the promise of cool water. They wade in slowly, bodies sinking into the shallow mud, the tension of the morning releasing into the stillness of the pool. They jostle, gently roll, bite, softly at one another, a brief interlude of ease before the day resumes. The heat begins to build, and for a short while the wild lands of Kaza settle back into something resembling quiet. On the broad golden plain beneath the shade of a large rock, the clan rests through the middle hours, the dry grass moving in a light breeze, the sun pressing warmth into their coats. It is a moment of temporary stillness that the savanna allows only sparingly. Then a pair of eyes sweeps the horizon and finds movement. Lions feeding on a recent kill. The shift in the clan is immediate. Curiosity sharpens into focus, and focus sharpens into hunger. The scent of fresh meat reaches them on the air and moves through the group like a current. One by one they rise and begin to move toward it with a quiet, unhurried determination that is in its own way more purposeful than any sprint. Lean silhouettes drifting across the golden plain, deliberate, soundless converging. The lions, heavy with feeding, have grown careless in their rest, unaware of what is drawing closer across the grass. Hunger is a remarkable clarifier. The hyenas read every detail of the scene ahead. The positions of the lions, the angles of approach, the margins available, drawing on a depth of collective experience that has been refined across countless generations of exactly this kind of moment. At the front, a bold female sets the pace, her steps placing themselves on the ground with a precision that makes almost no sound at all. The clan encircles the lions, no roaring yet, only held postures, locked eyes, and the ancient pressure of two predators reading each other across a distance that is shrinking. Above, vultures have already begun to circle, patient and unhurried as they always are. They know their turn will come when everything else has resolved itself. The lions give ground, retreating into the shade of the tree line, not broken but displaced. This loss, like so many others played out on these plains, will leave no monument, but it will leave a mark absorbed into the memory of the landscape itself. In Kaza, what determines the outcome of a confrontation is rarely size or strength alone. It is timing, nerve, and the willingness to commit fully at the moment that matters. The hyenas feed without pause or ceremony, tendons bone every fragment of what they have claimed, consumed with the thoroughness that defines them. Then the quiet returns, wind across dry grass, the distant echo of a struggle already finished. The carcass is gone, the dust settles, and the plain looks as it always has. This is how the law of this place operates, without sentiment, without appeal. Governed entirely by hunger and the will to press forward when others cannot. In a distant corner of Kaza, the silence is broken only by the dry creak of grass in a light wind. Beneath a thorny acacia, a coalition of cheetahs feeds on a freshly caught antelope. The reward for a hunt that required speed coordination and the precise reading of a moving target. The air around them carries the sharp scent of fresh meat. It is a moment of earned stillness, brief and complete. but in the shadows of the surrounding scrub yellow eyes are already watching. A hyena breaks first impulsive, driven by hunger that has overridden patience. The others follow, and the calm of the moment splits open. The numerical advantage is immediate and overwhelming. Hyenas press in from every angle, pulling, tearing, claiming large portions of the carcass before the cheetahs can mount any coherent defense. A young cheetah is knocked back, blood showing at its shoulder, and retreats as quickly as it can toward the safety of a nearby tree. Another attempts to hold on to what little remains, but two hyenas, growling in unison, push it aside without difficulty. The dominant male hauls himself onto a branch, sides heaving, and looks down from above as the kill that cost him so much effort disappears beneath a press of bodies. The air thickens heavy with blood, fur, and the raw energy of animals feeding with complete focus. This is not a conflict driven by dominance or territory. It is simpler and more fundamental than that. It is survival expressed without restraint. The hyenas consume everything, muscle, cartilage, organ, returning it all to the earth with an efficiency that leaves almost nothing behind. Only crushed bone remains. Above, the vultures continue their patient circles, riding the thermals, waiting for the moment when the ground below is theirs. In Kaza, nothing belongs to anyone permanently. No victory is secure, no matter what it costs to win. When dawn breaks again over the region, the dry air hums in near silence. The yellowed grass crackling under the weight of a rising sun. Life endures here, quietly pressing against the dry season that strips the land of everything soft. Beneath a thorn acacia, the hyena clan rests with distended bellies, the dried scent of last night's meal still clinging to their coats. For now, the weight of satiation holds them down. But survival runs on a cycle that does not allow for extended rest. Hunger will return, it always does, and instinct in this world does not truly sleep. One by one, the hyenas rise, moving out again with a purpose that the previous night's success has done nothing to diminish. noses working ears up, eyes reading the landscape for any detail that does not belong. Today they are not looking for small prey. Their attention fixes on a scattered group of topy antelope, some grazing, some resting. None of them alert to what is approaching. A hyena launches first, driving directly toward a topy's throat with lethal precision. Claws cut the air, jaws snap, but the topy explodes into movement, driven by pure panic, kicking hard. The bite finds the thigh, tears skin, but fails to bring the animal down. The herd reacts instantly. Hooves, thunder, dust rises, and the injured topy is swallowed into the moving mass of the group. The herd moves on, but the injured animal falls behind alone now. It's breathing ragged, unaware that the worst is still to come. Then the final assault breaks from the grass, a surge of muscle and momentum that closes the distance in seconds. The clan arrives like a wave. Eyes fixed, teeth exposed, the scent of warm blood driving them forward with an intensity that removes every other consideration. The topy goes down in a press of bodies. Bones give. The sounds of the struggle fade quickly into the sounds of feeding. The ground darkens. A hyena takes the spine. Another opens the abdomen. It is violent, and it is coordinated, and it is over very quickly. The feeding continues in a silence broken only by the steady percussion of bones being processed. The topy's eyes remain open, catching the light of the climbing sun. The hyenas work with singular focus, no conflict between them. No wasted movement, only the shared urgency of consumption before anything else can arrive to contest it. When it is finished, the clan slows. Bellies full, eyes half closed, they begin to disperse, moving back into the scrub, one by one, dissolving into the bush as quietly as they emerged from it. Behind them, only bone and stillness remain, one more entry in the long, unsentimental record of how this land sustains itself. Through the dense humidity of the landscape, presence materializes without announcement, deliberate, substantial, and entirely unhurried. The southern ground hornbill, the largest hornbill species in Africa, and one of the most distinctive birds on the continent. Unlike the many species that define themselves through flight, this bird moves primarily on foot, stepping across the wet ground with a measured, almost ceremonial patience, leaving dark impressions in the soft earth behind it. It is a large animal by any measure, standing up to 130 centimeters tall, with a wingspan exceeding 1.8 meters. Its plumage is a deep velvet black that absorbs the light rather than reflecting it, set against eyes of intense yellow, and the striking red throat pouch that identifies it immediately against the open savanna. The sexes can be told apart at considerable distance. Males carry a throat pouch that is entirely red. Females display a patch of blue-violet at the throat. A distinction clear enough to read from far across open ground. They live in small family groups organized around a single breeding pair, with additional members contributing actively to the raising and protection of young. Each group may patrol a territory of up to 100 square kilometers. A remarkable range for a ground-dwelling carnivorous bird. Their diet includes large insects, small reptiles, amphibians, and occasionally young rodents. The long, heavy bill serves a dual purpose, a precise tool for striking, cutting, and extracting prey concealed within dense vegetation, and when needed, an effective weapon. The southern ground hornbill does not hunt alone. When a group moves through its territory, the members spread out in a loose line, a slow, dark sweep across the landscape. Each bird working its section of ground, methodically covering the terrain with the thoroughness of animals that have learned not to miss anything. When their territory is challenged, they produce a call of extraordinary depth, low and resonant, carrying across the savanna in a way that can, at a distance, be mistaken for the rumble of a lion. It is a sound that functions as both declaration and warning. For all its physical presence, this species reproduces with a slowness that makes every individual count. Breeding occurs only once every 2 years. Of the 2 eggs typically laid, only 1 chick generally survives to adulthood. It is a reproductive rate that leaves almost no margin for sustained population loss. The ecological corridors and protected landscapes that Kaza maintains across 5 nations provide some of the last genuinely viable habitat remaining for this species, a refuge that in a world of accelerating change has become increasingly difficult to replace. From the highlands of Angola, water descends across ancient pathways and eventually reaches the Okavango Delta, and with it comes one of Africa's most singular inhabitants. The hippopotamus carries a mass that can exceed 1.5 tons, yet in water it moves with an ease that its bulk on land does not suggest. It does not swim in the conventional sense, it walks. And when occasion demands, it runs across the riverbed using short, powerful legs and a body shaped over millions of years for exactly this environment. Beneath the still surface, a hippopotamus can hold its breath for up to 5 minutes. More remarkably, it can remain asleep while doing so, its body surfacing and submerging again automatically without the animal waking. Its closest living relatives are not found on land at all. The hippopotamus shares its deepest evolutionary ancestry with whales and dolphins, the result of a divergence that occurred tens of millions of years ago. Its name, drawn from ancient Greek, translates as river horse, an image that captures something true about the authority this animal carries within any waterway it occupies. In the Okavango Delta, where seasonal flooding between June and August spreads across the low-lying terrain, hippos live in small groups and spend the majority of daylight hours submerged, regulating their body temperature in the cool water. After dark, they emerge to feed each individual, consuming around 40 kilograms of vegetation in a single night, moving through the bankside grasses with a thoroughness that leaves clear evidence of their passage. Their capacity for defense is formidable. Tusks reaching 50 centimeters in length are capable of splitting a wooden canoe or fracturing the jaw of a Nile crocodile. Despite being herbivores, hippopotamuses are widely regarded as among the most dangerous animals in Africa, fiercely territorial and capable of responding to perceived threats with extreme and sudden violence. On land, they can reach 30 kilometers per hour, fast enough to overtake a running adult human with ease. The skin of the hippopotamus produces a thick reddish-orange secretion that was long described inaccurately as blood sweat. It is, in fact, a multi-purpose biological compound that functions simultaneously as sunscreen moisturizer and insect repellent, an adaptation that allows the animal to tolerate the intense solar radiation of semi-arid regions like Botswana, where dry season temperatures regularly exceed 35 degrees Celsius. Within the Okavango Delta, the hippopotamus shapes the physical environment around it in ways that extend far beyond its own needs. Every movement through shallow water opens submerged channels that regulate water flow and prevent the unchecked accumulation of aquatic vegetation. These passages benefit fish, insects, and a wide range of water birds. The nutrients released into the water through the animal's waste redistribute across the system, sustaining a cycle of fertility that operates quietly but underpins much of what makes the flooded landscapes of Kaza so extraordinarily rich. The Barotse floodplain carries all the defining characteristics of a true source ecosystem, a system complete enough to sustain life at considerable scale. It is a vast depression that transforms with the seasons, filling with water to produce an expanse of low, dense, mineral-rich vegetation. That draws herbivores from across the surrounding landscape. The sediment layer that the floods deposit is exceptional in its nutritional content, and the grasses that grow from it reflect that richness in every leaf. It is these conditions that bring the blue wildebeest back to this place year after year to breed and raise their young. A fully grown adult can weigh up to 270 kilograms, reach nearly 2.4 meters in length, and stand over 1.4 meters at the shoulder. The coat is a dark gray with subtle blue tones that give the species its name, and both sexes carry outward curving horns. A practical defense in an environment where the pressure of predation is constant. The blue wildebeest feeds almost exclusively on short grasses, consuming between 4 and 6 kilograms per individual each day. Far from degrading the landscape they move through, this grazing pattern actively benefits it. By cropping the tips of young grasses, they prevent any single species from dominating the sward, allowing light and water to reach the soil and stimulating the growth of new shoots. In this way, the wildebeest sustains the very system it depends upon, a quiet and continuous act of ecological maintenance. When the streams begin to overflow and the surface of the plain mirrors the Zambian sky, the lechwe move unhurried without panic, shifting towards slightly elevated ground. Where new grass is already pushing through the waterlogged soil. There is no stampede, no jostling. But within the movement there is urgency, a discrete and essential migration timed precisely to the rhythm of the floods. The lechwe's instinct for survival is inseparable from the specific nature of its habitat. Flooded plains, shallow marshes, and frequently inundated ground. That most other species avoid. Its body reflects this specialization. Standing close to a meter at the shoulder and weighing between 70 and 120 kilograms, it is lean but resilient. The male develops curved horns reaching up to 92 centimeters, used in defense and displayed as a marker of status during the breeding season. The adaptation that defines the lechwe most completely is found in its hooves. Long, flattened, and spread wide, they distribute the animal's weight across soft ground and prevent it from sinking. An oily coating on the skin of the lower legs repels water, maintaining speed and agility when moving through knee-deep floodwater conditions that would slow or stop most predators entirely. Lions and African wild dogs find these inundated areas a genuine obstacle. But for the eyes that watch from beneath the surface, the calculation is entirely different. concealed within the mud and reeds, motionless and almost indistinguishable from the waterlogged ground around it. The Nile crocodile waits. It is the largest reptile in Africa and one of the most dangerous apex predators remaining in the modern world, an animal whose fundamental design has remained unchanged for tens of millions of years because it has never needed to change. As the waters begin to recede and herds of antelope, zebra, and buffalo move onto the floodplain in search of fresh grass, the crocodile enters the most productive hunting period of its year. Reaching between 3.5 and 5 meters in length and weighing up to 750 kilograms, its body is a biological mechanism built entirely around a single explosive moment. It lies beneath the surface with only its eyes and nostrils showing, tracking every movement that approaches, making calculations that require no conscious thought. Its skin, ranging from dark olive green to gray-brown, renders it effectively invisible against the characteristic mud of the Barotse inundated zones. When the distance closes to a matter of meters, the attack is instantaneous. A single violent surge and a bite generating forces exceeding 3,400 newtons per square centimeter. Up to 8 times the bite force of a great white shark ends any possibility of escape in a fraction of a second. Ambushes of this kind do not occur every day. After a substantial kill, the crocodile enters a prolonged period of digestion. Its stomach acids among the most potent of any vertebrate, capable of dissolving bone almost entirely. On the Barotse floodplain, every approach to the water's edge carries a calculation that the approaching animal cannot fully make. In a landscape that presents itself as calm and open, the boundary between survival and death is measured in the space of a single lunge and the beat of a heart that may not complete its next cycle. Kaza, one of the largest and most uncompromising wildlife regions on Earth. Across a territory shared by 5 nations, nature recognizes no boundary drawn by human hands. It recognizes only the constant, unrelenting pressure to exist. Every day across the plains, the rivers and the forests, silent confrontations play out, and irreversible decisions are made. In Kaza, survival is not given, it is earned, and the currency is sacrifice. Hunger drives movement forward, fear triggers response. A single mistake is paid for immediately and in full. There is no room here for hesitation and none for mercy. Predator and prey are locked together in a cycle as old as the land itself, where strength, speed, and instinct determine who continues and who does not. And yet within all of this, a fragile balance has held for thousands of years. Every confrontation, however brutal, contributes to the equilibrium that keeps this shared ecosystem functioning. Kaza is not simply a theater of natural conflict. It is evidence that life endures precisely because it never stops fighting for itself. When the sun drops and the dust settles once more across the plain, one truth remains in this wild kingdom: surviving another day is already a victory. If this journey through one of the planet's most untamed corners has moved, you don't forget to like and subscribe to Beast Call Nature. Across the African savanna, nature reveals its most raw and unforgiving side. This immense land, shaped by relentless sunlight and extreme seasonal changes, conceals countless dangers for every creature that calls it home. Life here exists on the edge, and each sunrise brings a new challenge to those fighting to stay alive. Within this harsh environment, some of the world's most formidable predators rule the savanna in very different ways. Some rely on strength and teamwork, while others depend on speed, stealth, or remarkable patience. Their methods turn the open plains into a constant battleground, where a single mistake can mean the difference between life and death. Chases are intense, encounters unavoidable, and every hunt reflects nature's strictest rule. Survival belongs to those best adapted. The African savanna is more than a place, it is a living world, where survival is forged through endurance, instinct, and determination. A wild realm where life and death move side by side, shaping one of the most powerful and dramatic stories in the natural world. As twilight settles over the Serengeti savanna, The deep roar of an adult male lion echoes across the plains, projecting an unmistakable sense of dominance. This sound is more than a territorial warning. It is a powerful announcement of one of nature's most iconic symbols of strength and balance. With a muscular body weighing between 130 and 190 kilograms and stretching up to 2.4 meters in length, the Serengeti lion survives and thrives within an ecosystem that is both demanding and remarkably diverse. The landscape, shaped by vast grasslands, scattered shrubs and wide open spaces, provides ideal conditions for this great predator. In areas such as Ndutu, ongoing conservation efforts have led to encouraging signs of population recovery. Lion prides inhabiting the southeastern plains often display a well-defined social structure, typically consisting of around 10 to 15 individuals. In some cases, prides may grow to include 20 or even 30 members, but most are formed by one or two dominant males, several adult females, and their offspring. Females are primarily responsible for hunting and caring for the cubs, while males focus on defending the territory and protecting the group from external threats. Living in a pride not only increases hunting efficiency but also strengthens defense against rival lions and competitors like hyenas. However, this social lifestyle comes with constant tension, both from outside rivals and within the pride itself. A dominant male may control a vast territory, using his roar audible from several kilometers away to signal his authority. Power struggles between males are often fierce and play a crucial role in shaping the genetic strength of the pride and the survival of future generations. As the only truly social big cat, lions have evolved complex cooperative hunting strategies to improve their chances of success. Their primary prey include zebras, wildebeest, and occasionally buffalo. Despite their impressive strength, Hunting success rates remain relatively low, averaging around 30%, as they often confront large and resilient animals capable of strong resistance. During a hunt, lionesses work together with remarkable coordination, using tall grass as cover while approaching from multiple directions. Once close enough, they launch a sudden attack, usually targeting isolated or weakened individuals. When confronting massive prey such as buffalo, males often join the effort. Their size and power allow them to subdue animals that females alone might struggle to bring down. A single large kill, like a buffalo, can feed a pride of more than 10 lions. The dominant male eats first, followed by other adult males, then the females, and finally the young and cubs. This feeding order clearly reflects the hierarchy and social structure that governs life within the lion's realm. Inside the den, spotted hyena cubs enter the world in a way unlike most predators. They are born with their eyes already open and teeth fully formed, alert and aware from the very first moment. This early development is no coincidence. It signals a life that begins with competition, even among siblings. Survival is not guaranteed. Silent confrontations emerge almost immediately, as each cub struggles to secure its place within the unseen hierarchy that governs the clan. Daughters born to high-ranking females inherit a clear advantage. They nurse first, receive greater protection, and are treated with priority from the start. Cubs born to lower-ranking mothers face a far harsher reality, forced to compete fiercely for access to milk and warmth. This imbalance can be deadly, and in some litters, only a single cub survives the early weeks of life. This extreme behavior, known as sibling rivalry, is not driven by cruelty but by an uncompromising process of natural selection. Hyena milk is exceptionally rich in nutrients, yet produced in limited quantities. Competition within the den ensures that only the strongest and most resilient cubs gain access to this vital resource. In fact, hyena milk ranks among the most nutritious found anywhere in the animal kingdom. The spotted hyena's body is the result of thousands of years of precise adaptation. Compact and powerfully built, it displays a distinctive asymmetry, longer front legs and shorter hind legs, creating its unmistakable sloping posture. Far from a flaw, this structure provides stability and strength, allowing hyenas to maintain speed and balance during long pursuits across uneven terrain. Unlike big cats that rely on short bursts of explosive speed, hyenas are endurance specialists. They do not sprint, they persist. Their hunting strategy is built around stamina, chasing prey until exhaustion takes over. The muscular strength concentrated in their front limbs supports one of their most formidable tools, a powerful bite. Spotted hyenas possess one of the strongest bites among land carnivores, with jaw pressure capable of exceeding 1,000 psi. This allows them to crush bones with ease. Their thick, resilient skin acts as natural protection, while their non-retractable but tough claws provide traction and control during extended chases. Their senses are equally refined. Smell, hearing, and night vision operate with remarkable precision. A carcass kilometers away or a faint sound hidden in tall grass rarely goes unnoticed. On the savanna, the hyena's body is more than a means of movement. It is a survival system engineered to endure extremes where many others fail. In this landscape, where danger lies hidden among golden grasses, hunting is not simply about strength, but about method. Few species demonstrate this better than the spotted hyena. Far from being reckless scavengers, they are calculated, patient, and highly organized hunters. Every movement has purpose, Every pursuit follows a plan. Unlike big cats that favor ambush or solitary attacks, hyenas operate as a coordinated unit. When potential prey is spotted, they do not rush in. A small group approaches cautiously, testing reactions and identifying weakness. They observe closely, searching for the slowest, most fatigued, or least alert individual. Once vulnerability is detected, the entire clan becomes involved. Communication is subtle but exact: a shift in posture, a glance, a tail movement. Each member understands its role. Some advance, others flank, while the rest block escape routes. The hunt unfolds like a carefully timed sequence, pushing the prey to its limits. There is no hesitation. The goal is not just capture, but exhaustion. In endurance, few predators can compete. Where a cheetah must abandon the chase after a brief sprint, the hyena continues, covering distance relentlessly. These pursuits can last many minutes and often end in the clan's favor. When the prey finally stumbles or makes a single mistake, the outcome is swift. Each successful hunt sustains the clan, reinforces social bonds, and confirms the hierarchy that holds the group together. Hyenas are equally effective when encountering remains left behind by other predators. Their digestive system is a remarkable evolutionary achievement. Extremely acidic stomach fluids allow them to break down bones, hooves, and decaying organic matter that would be dangerous for most animals. Where others risk illness, hyenas feed safely. This resilience plays a vital ecological role. By consuming carcasses that could otherwise spread disease, hyenas help prevent outbreaks among herbivores and other carnivores, contributing to the overall health of the savanna. For centuries, hyenas have been unfairly portrayed as cowardly or deceitful, cast as villains in folklore and modern media alike. This distorted image overlooks the reality of an animal that represents one of nature's highest levels of adaptation and efficiency. A perfect example is their so-called laughter, a sound often misunderstood as mockery. In truth, this distinctive vocalization is part of a sophisticated communication system. It conveys excitement, stress, fear, or warning. Researchers can even identify individual hyenas by their calls alone. The pitch and rhythm reveal age, identity, and social rank, functioning like an acoustic signature. Another persistent myth claims that hyenas survive only by stealing food from others. Scientific studies tell a different story. In many regions, more than 60% of their diet comes from their own hunts. In terms of hunting success, they often rival and sometimes surpass lions and leopards, proving that the spotted hyena is not a scavenger by necessity, but a master survivor by design. There is also the long-standing accusation of cowardice. But anyone who has witnessed a group of hyenas standing their ground against a lion knows how far from the truth that is. They do not rush in blindly. Every move is deliberate. And when numbers are on their side, they become an almost unstoppable force. Under the harsh glare of the midday sun, the savanna offers no shadows to hide the outcome. The lioness has secured her kill, but the struggle is far from over. The hyenas arrive openly, in full daylight, advancing with purpose and discipline. At the front stands the clan's matriarch. She does not attack impulsively. She watches, she measures. With a single glance, the formation shifts. The head is contained, the rear is sealed, the circle tightens. The lion possesses raw strength. The hyenas possess numbers and the ruthless efficiency of coordinated tactics. Their jaws deliver crushing power, enough to break resistance as much as flesh. In this moment, the balance of power on the savanna shifts. Because in the wild, dominance is not always claimed by the largest or the strongest, but by those who are best organized, most disciplined, and most united. In the Andutu region, The cheetah finds an environment close to ideal. Low vegetation and wide open plains perfectly suit its hunting style. These grasslands, lying at an average altitude of around 200 meters above sea level, support large populations of herbivores such as Thompson's gazelle, Grant's gazelle, and blue wildebeest, the primary foundation of the cheetah's diet. With a hunting success rate approaching 50%, the cheetah outperforms many larger predators, including lions, whose success rate is closer to 30%. This advantage comes from careful prey selection. Rather than targeting the strongest animals, cheetahs focus on smaller, more vulnerable individuals. Hunts usually begin at very short distances, often less than 60 meters, dramatically increasing the chance of success. Once a target is chosen, the cheetah launches an explosive chase, locking onto animals that lag behind or show signs of weakness. Accelerating from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in just seconds. It is the fastest land animal on Earth. This extraordinary speed is the result of a body built almost entirely for velocity. Long legs and powerful muscles generate immense thrust, while the cheetah's extended tail acts like a rudder, maintaining balance and enabling sharp turns at high speed. Its semi-retractable claws function like running spikes, gripping the ground for maximum traction. A lightweight skeleton further reduces resistance, allowing unmatched speed over short distances. These chases are brief by necessity, rarely lasting more than 30 seconds. Sprinting at full speed consumes enormous energy, and once a kill is made, the cheetah must eat quickly or drag its prey to cover. Larger competitors such as hyenas and lions can easily steal the carcass if given the chance. As a result, the cheetah must remain constantly alert, not only an elite hunter, but also a cautious one. By preying on smaller herbivores, it helps regulate gazelle populations, preventing overgrazing that could damage the landscape. At the same time, leftover remains provide food for scavengers and secondary predators, reinforcing the balance of the food chain. The cheetah's presence is essential to the ecological stability and biodiversity of the Serengeti. Yet today, it faces serious threats. Habitat loss, increasing conflict with humans, and intense competition from other predators have driven a troubling decline in cheetah populations, placing one of nature's most specialized hunters at growing risk. Another sound joins the soundscape of the savanna, the sharp, sneeze-like call of the African wild dog. The fragile status of this species reflects the intense pressure caused by habitat loss and direct competition with dominant predators such as lions and spotted hyenas. Once widespread across much of Africa, including the Serengeti, African wild dogs suffered a dramatic decline. By 1992, they were declared locally extinct within Serengeti National Park, largely due to poaching, disease, and relentless rivalry with other carnivores. With a lean, athletic body weighing between 20 and 30 kilograms and standing roughly 75 centimeters tall, the African wild dog is built for endurance. It can travel up to 12 kilometers a day in search of food while avoiding danger. What truly sets this species apart, however, is its remarkably strong social structure and an extraordinary level of cooperation within the pack. Packs typically consist of 6 to 20 individuals, though only a single alpha pair reproduces. This tightly organized hierarchy and deep sense of unity allow them to overcome challenges that solitary predators could never face alone. The strongest members not only lead the hunt, but also help care for pups and share food with injured or weakened packmates, ensuring the survival of the group as a whole. The hunting strategy of the African wild dog relies on stamina, coordination, and teamwork. capable of reaching speeds of up to 70 kilometers per hour. They can sustain a fast pace over long distances, making them among the most relentless hunters in the animal kingdom. Their approach is highly adaptable. Some individuals drive the chase, while others flank or cut off escape routes. Rather than relying on ambush, they pursue their prey until it is completely exhausted, a method especially effective in open landscapes like Ndutu. Thanks to their flawless coordination and careful prey selection, African wild dogs can achieve hunting success rates of up to 80%, far surpassing many other predators. In doing so, they play a crucial role in controlling herbivore populations, preventing overgrazing and protecting the savanna's vegetation. The remains of their kills also serve an important purpose. Scavengers such as vultures and jackals depend on these leftovers, helping recycle nutrients back into the ecosystem. In this way, the African wild dog contributes not only as a hunter, but as a vital force in maintaining the ecological balance of the African savanna. The Nile crocodile is a colossal reptile, capable of reaching lengths of up to 6 meters and weighing more than 900 kilograms. It stands as one of nature's most striking examples of endurance and adaptation in an unforgiving environment. The river is not only its refuge, but also a relentless hunting ground, especially during the rainy season, when millions of wildebeest surge across the water as part of the Great Migration. Shaped by millions of years of evolution dating back to the Jurassic era, this ancient predator is equipped with immensely powerful jaws, thick armored skin, and the ability to remain submerged for extended periods. Along the western corridor of the Serengeti, where the Grumeti River winds through the savanna, the Nile crocodile finds ideal conditions. Freshwater offers protection, while the endless flow of migrating herds provides a reliable source of food. The muddy riverbed and dense vegetation along the banks form perfect ambush sites. The relatively stable water temperature helps the crocodile regulate its body and conserve energy for the decisive moment. As migration begins, the river becomes a natural barrier. Crocodiles lie hidden beneath the surface, revealing only their eyes and nostrils, waiting patiently for the exact instant to strike. Their muscular bodies generate a bite force that can reach up to 5,000 psi, among the strongest ever recorded in the animal kingdom. Using the infamous death roll, they tear apart their prey with devastating efficiency. Each migration season, crocodiles in the Grumeti River kill thousands of wildebeest, playing a critical role in the food chain. Even so, the majority of the herds, nearly 60%, manage to cross the river successfully. The Nile crocodile is a true master of survival. It can go months without feeding, relying on stored energy to endure periods of scarcity. This ability, combined with physical resilience, flexible movement, and an exceptionally tough hide, allows it to withstand extreme conditions that would overwhelm most predators. As an apex predator, the crocodile helps regulate populations of large herbivores such as wildebeest and zebras, preventing overgrazing and protecting vegetation. The remains of its kills sustain a wide range of scavengers, ensuring the continuous flow of energy through the ecosystem. Its presence not only preserves balance, but also supports biodiversity throughout the region. Yet the Grumeti River is not ruled by crocodiles alone. It is also home to another dominant force, the hippopotamus. This massive semi-aquatic mammal plays a unique and influential role in the ecological structure of the Serengeti's western corridor. Weighing more than 1,500 kilograms, the hippopotamus is the third heaviest land animal on Earth. Unlike elephants or rhinoceroses, it combines a seemingly calm demeanor with unpredictable aggression, creating a powerful impact on its surroundings. Its evolutionary history is closely tied to both land and water and stretches back millions of years. Despite appearances, hippos are closely related to whales and dolphins, sharing a common ancestor from around 55 million years ago. Over time, they developed key adaptations for life in freshwater: short but incredibly strong legs that allow agile movement, and thick skin that protects against intense solar radiation. Their range extends across much of sub-Saharan Africa, primarily in rivers, large lakes, and wetlands. In the Grumeti River, hippos gather in deep, slow-moving sections, where cool water helps regulate body temperature and safeguard their young. This same river also serves as a migration route for countless species, especially during the massive movement of wildebeest. By carving pathways through dense vegetation, hippos help maintain water flow, particularly during the dry season. Although they share the same habitat, the relationship between hippos and Nile crocodiles is often tense and competitive. With massive bodies and canine teeth that can reach up to 50 centimeters in length, a hippo can deliver devastating attacks when it feels threatened, especially when defending its territory or offspring. However, in the absence of direct provocation, both species can coexist in the same waters without constant conflict. Hippos live in groups with a clear social structure, typically consisting of a dominant male, several females, and their young. These groups may include up to 20 individuals. The dominant male asserts control by opening his jaws to display his tusks, or by releasing powerful warning calls that echo across the river. Although they spend most of their lives in the water, confrontations between male hippos over territory or access to aquatic resources can be extraordinarily violent, often resulting in severe injuries and, at times, death. Despite their aggressive reputation, hippos are strictly herbivorous, consuming an average of around 40 kilograms of grass each day. They typically leave the water at night to graze, moving along riverbanks or venturing deep into the savanna. The paths carved during these nocturnal journeys serve more than their own needs. These natural corridors become travel routes for other species, from small mammals to major predators such as lions and leopards. The presence of the hippopotamus is essential to ecological balance. Its waste, released directly into the water, delivers large amounts of nutrients into freshwater systems, fueling the growth of microorganisms and small aquatic life. This nutrient input supports fish and invertebrates, helping sustain a healthy and functioning food web. At the same time, the constant movement of hippos disturbs soil and vegetation, creating conditions that allow new plant life to emerge. For migrating herds, the dangers do not end after crossing the Grumeti River, a landscape shaped by Nile crocodiles and the imposing territorial presence of hippos. Of all the formidable predators of the African savanna we've explored, which one left the strongest impression on you? Let us know in the comments below. High above the western corridor of the Serengeti, soaring over the Grumeti River, a silent presence dominates the sky. With its vast wings fully extended, the Ripple's vulture glides effortlessly, watching over the wilderness below. In an ecosystem shaped by constant competition and sudden change, this species plays a vital role in maintaining ecological balance. Renowned for its unmatched efficiency as a scavenger, the Ripple's vulture is essential to keeping the Serengeti clean and functioning. As a member of the Old World vultures, it possesses biological adaptations perfectly suited to its task. Its long, featherless neck allows it to reach deep into carcasses without fouling its plumage, while a strong, hooked beak easily tears through flesh. With a wingspan reaching up to 2.6 meters, it can soar for hours, covering vast distances while expending very little energy. This ability is especially valuable across wide, dry landscapes where food sources may lie many kilometers apart. Along the western corridor, particularly near the Grumeti River, Ripple's vultures find abundant nourishment in the remains of large animals such as buffalo, wildebeest, and zebras. During the Great Migration, many animals failed to survive the river crossing, leaving their bodies along the banks, where vultures gather to perform their role as nature's cleanup crew. Sandbanks and calm stretches of water become key feeding zones during migration season. The species is also famous for its extraordinary flight altitude, holding the record for the highest flight ever recorded for a bird up to 11,300 meters. With exceptional eyesight, these vultures can spot a carcass from more than 6 kilometers away and reach it quickly. A group of Ripple's vultures can strip a wildebeest carcass clean in as little as 30 minutes, preventing the spread of dangerous bacteria and diseases such as anthrax or pasteurellosis. Despite their importance, they face intense competition for food from lions and hyenas. Once these predators abandon a kill, the vultures move in, using their powerful beaks to make the most of what remains. Their highly specialized digestive system allows them to neutralize harmful bacteria and toxins found in decaying flesh, a rare ability in the animal kingdom. Yet their contribution goes far beyond carcass removal. Through the breakdown of organic matter, vultures help return nutrients to the soil, improving fertility and supporting the growth of grasses and shrubs. This process is especially critical in the western Serengeti, where healthy grasslands are essential for sustaining the massive migratory herds. Despite their ecological value, Ripple's vultures are experiencing a worrying population decline. Conservation efforts within the Serengeti now focus on protecting migration corridors and raising awareness among local communities about the crucial role vultures play in preserving the health and balance of the natural world. And so, the African savanna carries on its endless story of life and death. Beneath burning skies and across vast open plains, silent struggles unfold each day, where instinct, experience, and endurance determine the fate of every creature in this unforgiving land. These hunts, often harsh and unrelenting, are not merely displays of brutality, but expressions of a self-regulating natural world in which every species plays an essential role in maintaining balance. To witness this wild realm is also an invitation to understand and respect it. Protecting the African savanna means safeguarding a living chronicle of life in its purest form. Ensuring that these powerful scenes continue to exist and remind us of the true meaning of survival.